The Discovery, The Call of the Void. Captain Elena Vasquez pressed her weathered palm against the observation deck's reinforced glass, watching the asteroid miners work their dangerous dance around the spinning rock designated VG-2847. 20 years of deep space exploration had taught her to read the subtle signs of trouble, and right now, every instinct she possessed was screaming warnings. The mining operation on Prometheus Base should have been routine. Extract rare metals from the asteroid belt, process them in the orbital facility, and ship them back to Earth's hungry industries. Instead, Elena found herself staring at something that defied every scientific principle she knew. The asteroid was wrong. Not just unusual, wrong in ways that made her engineering mind rebel against what her eyes were showing her. The rock's composition shifted between scans, sometimes appearing as common iron-nickel, other times displaying elements that shouldn't exist in nature. The mining crews had been reporting strange dreams, visions of vast spaces filled with geometric patterns that hurt to contemplate. 3 workers had already been transferred to the medical bay with severe headaches and symptoms that resembled temporal displacement sickness. Elena's reflection in the glass showed a woman who had seen too much of the universe's stranger corners. Her black hair, now streaked with premature silver, was pulled back in the practical bun she'd worn since her academy days. Scar tissue on her left temple marked where a plasma conduit had exploded during the Centauri crisis, but her dark eyes remained sharp with the curiosity that had driven her from Earth's comfortable gravity to the endless night between stars. The breakthrough. Dr. James Chen burst through the observation deck's doors with the enthusiasm of a man who had just solved the universe's greatest riddle. His usually neat appearance was disheveled, his white lab coat stained with the kind of mineral dust that meant he'd been crawling through the asteroid's newly carved tunnels. At 35, James was young for a xenoarchaeologist, but his reputation for finding impossible things in impossible places had earned him a position on Elena's crew. "Captain, you need to see this immediately," James panted, holding up a handheld scanner that was displaying readings Elena had never encountered. "We found something in the asteroid's core, something that's been waiting for us." Elena followed James through the station's corridors, past the humming machinery that kept 37 humans alive in the vacuum of space. The asteroid mining platform Prometheus Base was built for efficiency, not comfort. Metal walls lined with exposed conduits and emergency oxygen tanks created a maze that newcomers often got lost in, but Elena could navigate these passages blindfolded after 6 months of operations. They descended through 3 levels to reach the mining access tunnel that connected to VG-2847. The asteroid's interior had been carved into a network of passages following the richest ore veins, but James led her deeper than any mining operation should go. The walls here showed signs of ancient drilling, perfectly circular holes that predated human presence by millennia. Commander Sarah Mitchell was waiting for them at the tunnel's deepest point. Elena's security chief was a woman built like a fortress wall, with cybernetic arm implants that could bend steel and reflexes enhanced by military-grade neural boosters. Her scarred face reflected years of combat in 3 different colonial wars, but right now she looked genuinely disturbed. The ancient guardian. "Captain," Sarah said, her voice carrying the controlled tension of someone trying not to panic, "the mining crew broke through into a chamber that isn't a T on any geological survey. We've got a structure down there that's definitely not natural, and it's been actively transmitting for who knows how long." Elena felt the device's satisfaction through their neural link. 43 days was apparently exactly the amount of time they had been allocated for humanity's response. The test's next phase had specific parameters, and late arrivals would not be considered. Sarah's tactical training took over as she processed the situation. "Captain, if this is some kind of first contact scenario, we need to alert Earth Command immediately. This is way above our authorization level." "Agreed," Elena said, though she could sense through the device that time was more critical than Earth's bureaucrats would understand. "But we also need to start preparing for a journey that might determine humanity's future among the stars." The device pulsed brighter, and Elena felt a new stream of information flowing into her consciousness. Technical specifications for improvements to their quantum drive, modifications that would reduce the journey time to less than 2 weeks. The knowledge came with a clear understanding that these improvements were gifts, demonstrations of what humanity could achieve with guidance from civilizations that had mastered the universe's deeper mysteries. The choice. James was recording everything, his excitement barely contained as he documented humanity's first confirmed contact with advanced alien intelligence. "Captain, this is the greatest discovery in human history. We're not alone, and they want to meet us." Elena nodded, but the weight of responsibility was settling on her shoulders like a lead blanket. Through her connection to the device, she could sense the vast scope of what lay ahead. The galaxy was full of intelligent life, ancient beyond human comprehension, and they had been waiting to see if humanity would develop the wisdom to join their community or the aggression that would require their elimination. "Sarah, prepare a quantum burst transmission to EA. Barth Command. Priority Alpha classification. Include all our data on the device and my recommendation for immediate preparation of our fastest deep space vessel." Elena turned to study the alien artifact one more time. "James, I need you to document everything about this chamber. If we don't come back from this meeting, humanity needs to know what we found." The device pulsed with what Elena somehow recognized as approval. The first phase of contact was complete, but the real test was just beginning. Humanity had 43 days to prove they deserved a place among the stars, and Elena Vasquez had just become their unwilling ambassador to forces beyond imagination. As they prepared to leave the chamber, Elena felt one final transmission through the neural link. A sense of ancient hope, as if the device's creators had been waiting millions of years for a species like humanity to emerge. The universe was vast and often hostile, but it was also full of wonders that only cooperative civilizations could explore together. The signal from beyond had awakened more than just alien technology. It had awakened humanity's destiny among the stars. The test, the assembly. 41 days later, Elena stood on the bridge of humanity's most advanced vessel, the exploration ship Endeavour, watching impossible architecture materialize from the void of interstellar space. The coordinates the alien device had provided led them to a structure that challenged every law of physics Elena thought she understood. It wasn't built in space so much as it was woven from space itself, corridors and chambers that existed in folded dimensions where distance and direction followed rules that made her head spin. "Arya, are you monitoring this?" Elena asked. "Yes, Captain. The signal has transitioned from mathematical constants to what appears to be star charts. Highly detailed navigational data for this galaxy and several others. The level of astronomical knowledge required to generate these charts exceeds current human capabilities by several centuries." Elena reached out her gloved hand toward the device's surface. The moment her fingers made contact with its crystalline exterior, the universe exploded into her consciousness. The download. Images flooded Elena's mind faster than thought itself. Vast cities that spanned entire star systems, beings of pure energy that danced between dimensions, technologies that could reshape matter at the atomic level with nothing more than focused intention. She saw the rise and fall of civilizations across millions of years, the birth and death of stars used as power sources for projects that spanned galactic clusters. Through it all ran a single thread of purpose. The device had been waiting, not just waiting passively, but actively monitoring local space for signs of intelligent life that met specific criteria. It had watched humanity's first tentative steps into space, observed their struggles with basic interplanetary travel, and measured their progress against parameters established by its creators eons ago. The signal it had been transmitting wasn't random. It was a test, a puzzle designed to be solved only by minds that combined logical thinking with creative intuition. Humanity had passed the first phase simply by developing the technology to detect the signal. They had passed the second phase by choosing to investigate rather than ignore or destroy what they didn't understand. Elena gasped as the download completed, her mind reeling with knowledge that felt both alien and strangely familiar. The device had given her coordinates, not just spatial coordinates, but temporal ones as well. A location in space that existed outside normal reality, where representatives of the galaxy's oldest civilizations waited to evaluate species that reached sufficient development. The warning. "Captain, Sarah's voice cut through Elena's disorientation. "Your vital signs spiked off the charts. What happened?" Elena stepped back from the device, her legs unsteady as her brain processed information that human neural pathways weren't designed to handle. "It downloaded something into my mind. Star maps, historical records, and coordinates for a meeting place beyond our solar system." James was scanning frantically, his equipment registering energy patterns that resembled brain activity. "Captain, the device appears to have established a neural link with you. Whatever it transferred, it's still maintaining a connection." The implications hit Elena like a physical blow. She wasn't just carrying alien knowledge, she was connected to a network that spanned the galaxy. Through that connection, she could sense vast intelligences turning their attention toward Earth's solar system. Some were curious, others cautious, and a few radiated the kind of ancient patience that came from watching species evolve and die over geological timescales. "Aria, calculate travel time to these coordinates using our fastest available vessel," Elena commanded, uploading the positional data directly from her enhanced memory. "Coordinates received, Captain. Location appears to be in interstellar space, approximately 2.7 light-years beyond Pluto's orbit. Using experimental quantum drive technology, travel time would be approximately 43 days. Elena felt the device's satisfaction through their neural link. 43 days was apparently exactly the amount of time they had been allocated for humanity's response. The test's next phase had specific parameters, and late arrivals would not be considered. Sarah's tactical training took over as she processed the situation. "Captain, if this is some kind of first contact scenario, we need to alert Earth Command immediately. This is way above our authorization level." "Agreed," Elena said, though she could sense through the device that time was more critical than Earth's bureaucrats would understand. "But we also need to start preparing for a journey that might determine humanity's future among the stars." The device pulsed brighter, and Elena felt a new stream of information flowing into her consciousness. Technical specifications for improvements to their quantum drive, modifications that would reduce the journey time to less than 2 weeks. The knowledge came with a clear understanding that these improvements were gifts, demonstrations of what humanity could achieve with guidance from civilizations that had mastered the universe's deeper mysteries. The choice. James was recording everything, his excitement barely contained, as he documented humanity's first confirmed contact with advanced alien intelligence. "Captain, this is the greatest discovery in human history. We're not alone, and they want to meet us." Elena nodded, but the weight of responsibility was settling on her shoulders like a lead blanket. Through her connection to the device, she could sense the vast scope of what lay ahead. The galaxy was full of intelligent life, ancient beyond human comprehension, and they had been waiting to see if humanity would develop the wisdom to join their community or the aggression that would require their elimination. "Sarah, prepare a quantum burst transmission to EA. Earth Command. Priority Alpha classification. Include all our data on the device and my recommendation for immediate preparation of our fastest deep space vessel." Elena turned to study the alien artifact one more time. "James, I need you to document everything about this chamber. If we don't come back from this meeting, humanity needs to know what we found." The device pulsed with what Elena somehow recognized as approval. The first phase of contact was complete, but the real test was just beginning. Humanity had 43 days to prove they deserved a place among the stars, and Elena Vasquez had just become their unwilling ambassador to forces beyond imagination. As they prepared to leave the chamber, Elena felt one final transmission through the neural link. A sense of ancient hope, as if the device's creators had been waiting millions of years for a species like humanity to emerge. The universe was vast and often hostile, but it was also full of wonders that only cooperative civilizations could explore together. The signal from beyond had awakened more than just alien technology. It had awakened humanity's destiny among the stars. The test, the assembly. 41 days later, Elena stood on the bridge of humanity's most advanced vessel, the exploration ship Endeavour, watching impossible architecture materialize from the void of interstellar space. The coordinates the alien device had provided led them to a structure that challenged every law of physics Elena thought she understood. It wasn't built in space so much as it was woven from space itself, corridors and chambers that existed in folded dimensions where distance and direction followed rules that made her head spin. The journey from Earth had been a whirlwind of preparation and political maneuvering. Earth Command had initially dismissed Elena's report as hallucination or hoax until the technical specifications she'd received allowed human engineers to improve their quantum drive efficiency by 300%. The modifications worked exactly as promised, proving that Elena's neural link to alien technology was genuine and potentially invaluable. Dr. Chen stood at her shoulder, his excitement barely contained as he studied readings that redefined their understanding of engineering possibilities. "Captain, the energy signatures we're detecting suggest this structure is at least 1,000,000 years old, possibly older. Whatever civilization built this, they achieved technological advancement that makes our greatest achievements look like cave paintings." Commander Mitchell maintained her vigilant stance at the security station, though Elena suspected that conventional weapons would be useless against beings capable of constructing installations in folded space. "Captain, I'm reading multiple energy signatures inside that structure. Big ones. We're definitely not alone out here." Through the neural link she still maintained with the device, Elena could sense vast intelligences awakening to their presence. Ancient minds that had seen the birth and death of thousands of species, each one evaluated and either welcomed into galactic civilization or quietly eliminated before they could threaten more peaceful worlds. The representatives. The Endeavor docked with the alien structure through a process that Elena's brain refused to properly comprehend. One moment they were approaching what appeared to be a solid surface. The next they were inside a cavernous bay that definitely hadn't existed moments before. The artificial gravity felt comfortable, perfectly calibrated for human physiology, at which Elena found either reassuring or terrifying. The delegation that met them defied description. Elena's translator implants, enhanced with data from the alien device, provided approximations of communication, but she suspected she was missing layers of meaning that human language simply couldn't express. The first being introduced itself as something Elena's mind interpreted as ancient wisdom that guides through storms. It resembled a tree made from crystallized light, its branches extending into dimensions Elena couldn't see. When it spoke, reality itself seemed to vibrate with harmonic frequencies that bypassed her ears and spoke directly to her understanding. "Humanity has reached the threshold," ancient wisdom communicated. "Your species demonstrates the curiosity necessary for growth and the cooperation required for survival among the stars. But curiosity and cooperation alone are insufficient. You must prove you possess the wisdom to use knowledge responsibly." The second representative was easier for Elena's mind to process, though no less impressive. It called itself Swift Current Between Worlds, and appeared as a constantly shifting geometric pattern that suggested both organic flow and mathematical precision. Its communication felt like being touched by a gentle river of pure thought. "Many species reach this point," Swift Current explained. "They develop the technology to detect our signals and the courage to follow them to their source. Most fail the final evaluation. Those who fail are not punished, but they are not invited to participate in the greater community that spans galaxies." Dr. Chen stepped forward, his scientific training overriding any fear he might have felt. "What kind of evaluation? What do you need to know about us?" The third representative materialized from what Elena had thought was empty space. It resembled a constellation that had decided to take personal form, points of light connected by lines of force that created patterns of beauty and complexity that brought tears to Elena's eyes. It identified itself as Hope That Bridges the Dark. "The evaluation is simple," Hope That Bridges explained. "We present a problem that has no solution according to current understanding of physics and mathematics. Species that approach the problem with violence fail immediately. Those who attempt to solve it through pure logic usually fail as well. The few who succeed do so by demonstrating the kind of thinking that makes them valuable partners in exploring the universe's deepest mysteries." The impossible problem. Elena and her team were led through corridors that existed in more dimensions than human perception could process. They arrived in a chamber that contained what Elena's enhanced understanding recognized as a simulation of reality itself, a working model of a galaxy where they could observe the birth and death of stars in accelerated time. The problem appeared before them as a sphere of pure contradiction. It was simultaneously the largest and smallest object Elena had ever seen, existing in multiple states of matter while occupying no space at all. According to every physical law she knew, it shouldn't exist. According to the readings from their instruments, it was the most real thing in the chamber. This object represents a fundamental paradox, ancient wisdom explained. It exists because it cannot exist. It functions because it should not function. Many species attempt to resolve the paradox by force, trying to make reality conform to their understanding. Others become trapped in endless logical loops, unable to accept something that contradicts their scientific principles. Elsies. Ina studied the impossible sphere while her mind raced through possibilities. The device in her brain provided context but no answers. This was humanity's test, and they had to solve it using distinctly human approaches to impossible problems. Dr. Chen was already scanning the object with every instrument at his disposal, muttering calculations under his breath. Commander Mitchell was approaching the problem from a tactical perspective, looking for weaknesses or points of leverage. Both approaches were logical, but Elena sensed they were missing something fundamental. The human solution. Elena closed her eyes and reached out through the neural link, not to the alien device, but to her own crew aboard the Endeavour. Through the ship's communication system, she contacted every department head, every specialist, every crew member who might have a unique perspective on an impossible problem. "Listen up, everyone," she broadcast. "We're looking at something that exists by breaking every rule we know. I need ideas from all of you. Engineering, medical, navigation, even food service. What do you see when you look at something that shouldn't exist?" The responses came flooding back. Chief Engineer Rodriguez suggested that maybe the object existed in quantum superposition, simultaneously all possible states until observed. Medical Officer Thompson wondered if it might be alive in ways that transcended biological definitions. Navigation Specialist Park proposed that it might be a map of space-time itself, folded into dimensions they couldn't perceive. But it was Food Service Coordinator Maria Santos who provided the key insight. "Captain, in my grandmother's kitchen she had a recipe that called for an ingredient that didn't exist. But when you combined all the other ingredients with love and patience, the missing element appeared. Maybe this thing exists because someone believes in it strongly enough." Elena opened her eyes and looked at the impossible sphere with new understanding. It wasn't a technological device or a natural phenomenon. It was a test of imagination, of the uniquely human ability to believe in things that couldn't be true and make them real through collective will and creative interpretation. "James, Sarah, I need you to stop trying to understand this thing and start believing in it instead," Elena said, her voice carrying absolute conviction. "This isn't about physics or tactics. It's about faith in possibilities that don't make sense." She reached out and touched the sphere with her bare hand, her suit's protective systems disengaged by conscious override. The moment her skin contacted its surface, the object stabilized into a form her eyes could process. It became a map, not of space, but of potential futures where humanity worked alongside the ancient civilizations to explore mysteries that spanned the cosmic web itself. The welcome. The three alien representatives began to glow brighter, their forms becoming more defined as Elena's solution proved correct. The impossible sphere transformed into a gateway, a doorway leading to places where human curiosity and alien wisdom could combine to achieve wonders neither could accomplish alone. "Humanity passes the evaluation," Hope That Bridges announced, its communication now carrying warmth that Elena could feel in her bones. "Your species demonstrates the rare ability to embrace paradox without losing hope, to solve impossible problems through cooperation and creative thinking. These qualities are precious in a universe that often rewards only strength or cunning." Ancient wisdom extended something that might have been a branch or an arm toward Elena. "The device you discovered was placed on your world's edge eons ago, waiting for a species with the right combination of curiosity and wisdom to find it. Many species never develop enough to detect such signals. Others find them but lack the courage to investigate. Humanity has proven worthy of joining the greater community." Swift Current added its own blessing to the moment. Your people will be granted access to technologies that will allow travel between galaxies, communication across dimensions, and understanding of forces that shape reality itself. But more importantly, you will be welcomed as partners in the greatest exploration project ever undertaken. Elena felt tears streaming down her face as the magnitude of humanity's new future settled into her understanding. Through the neural link, she could sense the collective joy of her crew as they realized that loneliness on a cosmic scale was ending for their species. "What is this greatest exploration project?" she asked. Hope that bridges created patterns of light that Elena's enhanced perception interpreted as maps of regions beyond known space, areas where the normal rules of existence became suggestions rather than laws. "We are mapping the boundaries of reality itself, exploring regions where new forms of existence might be possible. Humanity's unique perspective, your species' ability to believe in impossible things and make them real through collective will, makes you invaluable partners in this endeavor." The new beginning. As Elena prepared to return to Earth with news that would transform human civilization, she realized that finding the alien device had been the end of one story and the beginning of something infinitely larger. Humanity was no longer alone in the universe, and their future lay not in conquest or competition, but in cooperation with intelligences that had been waiting millions of years for partners worthy of the cosmos's greatest secrets. The signal from beyond had awakened more than alien technology. It had awakened humanity's true potential as explorers of infinite possibility, bridge builders between realities, and partners with the universe itself in the endless adventure of discovery. Through her neural link, Elena could already sense preparations beginning across dozens of star systems as ancient civilizations prepared to welcome Earth's children into a community that spanned galaxies. The real adventure was just beginning,